Hello, this is Joe. Hey, welcome to my part 2 of my Future Spa Pinball Playfield restoration. And the first part, we kind of tore down the playfield, and so all the components are off the top. Now again, I did leave a lot of the wiring underneath the wire harness, some of the bulb sockets, etc. down there. Again, that's a personal choice. It's just an awful lot of work. And a lot of people like to just strip it down to just the board, but I'll leave that up to you if you would like to do that. Now, I did set it up on my own homemade stand here. You can purchase kind of like a Playfield stand rotisserie type structure. Those are pretty expensive, plus they do take up space if you need to store them. I chose to kind of build my own stand, and I have several holes here for different size pinballs, and it has suited me very well so far. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing for this episode is just basically prepping the playfield for the paint, which means I have to clean it off very well, get the dirt, the grime off. I have to remove the existing playfield wax. This is, I'm sure, been waxed many times before. Also, I have to remove some of these Mylar strips. I think there's 2 or 3 Mylar strips that I have to remove. So in addition to removing the Mylar here, there's also a couple of inserts I want to remove. Basically, the inserts are these kind of plastic circular things. There's usually lights underneath them that light up. But most of them are flush, and I could deal with those. I could just paint around them, and when I do the clear coat, they should be, you can clear coat right over them just with the wood itself. But a couple of them kind of stick up a little bit. They have a little lip like here. I don't know if you can see that. The other ones are generally flush. This one has a lip. I'll probably remove that and re-glue that in so it's flush. Also, there's this little pop-up star here underneath. You can see there's a little trigger that's underneath that when a ball rolls over it, it triggers a sensor. And so this is going to be, I don't want to clear coat over that, so that really needs to be removed. And I'll clear coat, and then I'll have to reinsert this after the clear coat. So I'll have to remove this as well. And these inserts will also be removed with a heat gun. You just heat it really carefully up on top, underneath, and eventually the glue will soften and you could remove the inserts. Now for the general cleaning, I'm just going to use isopropyl alcohol. This is a little spray bottle. You don't need a spray bottle, but this says 91%, but I might have filled this up with 99%. So anything between 91, 92, or 99% is fine. I'm just going to initially just spray it down, wipe it with just some paper towels, and then I'm going to use magic erasers. So basically, just get yourself. You can get them in bulk or individual packs. What I usually do is I cut them down to little cubes like this. I apply isopropyl alcohol, and I start kind of carefully cleaning it in the spots to get the dirt and the wax off. Now, when you're doing this, there is some abrasion as a result. These aren't, they do have kind of a texture, and they will remove paint. So you just have to be careful that you're only removing the dirt and the wax. And so what I recommend, and you'll see me do this, is as we go ahead and clean, periodically check the bottom for any color. So if I'm doing red, check down, and if I'm seeing red there, I will stop cleaning because I know then it's below the wax. And there you go. So let's start the cleaning process. So I'm going to use the freeze method to remove the Mylar, and essentially what you do is take can air, you turn the can upside down. You don't spray it normally right side up, but you turn it upside down and it'll spray out the liquid in the can and not just the air. And this will freeze the Mylar and make removal a lot easier. Now there are a couple of methods to remove the Mylar. There's this freeze technique with canned air, or you can just use a heat gun to kind of help soften the Mylar and the glue, and that could help remove the Mylar as well. A lot of people prefer one technique over the other. I've used both and had success and failure with both. Essentially, if you use the heat technique, sometimes that will soften the actual paint underneath and you can peel up the paint with the Mylar. That could also happen with the freeze technique. Sometimes the freeze technique, the paint underneath reacts to the freezing and it could crack the paint and remove it up with the Mylar as well. I think it really depends on the paint used on the Playfield, and they use different paints at different times, and different companies use different paints. So you do want to test out the method you want to use on perhaps an area that is more easily touched up, just to make sure that it's effective with the Playfield and the paint that's on the Playfield. But for this particular Playfield, the freeze technique is working very well. Essentially, you want to spray underneath and on top. As you go, you need a little corner to work with. And once you get a corner up, then just make sure that you go slowly and apply the freezing from both the top and bottom, and it should work out. And you can see the glue that was underneath the Mylar, and I'm just going to use the isopropyl alcohol, which should help dissolve it, and it may take a little while, but you can kind of feel once you apply the isopropyl alcohol that it kind of gets really slippery, and that's the glue dissolving. So you just want to do this carefully. You're going to be working this area really well, so be careful of the paint on the edges. Just kind of scrub just the glue portion, and eventually it will come off. Here you can see kind of like, here's a patch where all the glue is removed, and it's still tacky right there. Here's most of the glue here is removed, and so you just do it slowly. Keep on applying the isopropyl alcohol, and it'll eventually dissolve the glue. And there you go, all the glue is gone. Now you could also apply some flour as you apply the isopropyl alcohol and kind of rub the flour in. It's a little bit gritty, but that kind of absorbs a lot of the isopropyl alcohol and brings up the glue as well, brings in the glue to the flour, and that can speed up the process. But there you go, it's all done. Okay, so before you get too far into cleaning the Playfield, I would just kind of rub my hand over and try to find little bumps caused by the screw holes or nails. You can see kind of one there. I think there's kind of one there. You can kind of see that the wood is lifted up. This one has a little bit of that. Also, where little staples came out here, you can see right there, it's kind of raised. Here, I could actually, a little piece of paper towel got hooked up. And so what you want to do is just take a little nail sink. I got a couple of them here. You want to get the flathead ones. You don't want the ones with the little circle on them. You just want flat, and just go around and try to hammer those kind of highs down. Not only will that help in cleaning, so your paper towels and your magic erasers won't get caught on them, but also when you do your painting and clear coat, you won't have these highs that you have to deal with. Okay, and so now for the cleaning process. Again, we're going to take our magic erasers and some isopropyl alcohol. If you don't have a spray bottle, just apply a little isopropyl alcohol to your Playfield, and just in swirly motions, just kind of go around like this. You might feel a little bit textural change as you clean, as the wax from the playfield and the dirt rises, you might feel a little bit of a change in how it feels. That's good. That might show you, kind of give you an indication of how much you're cleaning. Again, check the bottom of the magic eraser. Make sure you aren't lifting up any paint. If you are, you want to move locations. And you may, in some places like the inserts, you may see a little bit of paint removal. It really depends on the condition of the playfield. If it's in really poor condition, you might be losing a lot of paint through chipping during this process. But again, a lot of that paint will not stay there anyway. So you might as well remove it now so you have a good surface to paint on, repaint, and also apply the clear coat. So you just go through this process slowly. It'll take some time, but eventually you'll clean off your playfield. And then just, periodically wipe it off. And at the end, you're just gonna wipe it off several times to make sure that all the residue is removed.